And did you have much contact with Dynamite Kid when you were younger?
No, none. I'm absolutely. You know what? I saw him. You know, he kind of came back into the picture a few years ago. After, you know, of course, you would probably know he wrote his book, and him and my dad had a pretty bad falling out, and I think his book, to be perfectly honest, he was pretty one-sided, and it didn't really come across. He came across as being more. He seemed more bitter in it, you know what I mean? And maybe he's got some good reasons to be. But his daughter Bronwyn ended up getting in touch with him, and she came over to the UK, and I happened to be over, and then she kind of said, well, you know, you could come over and see him. He said, you're fine. I said, are you sure? And she said, yeah, you know. So I was doing a WWE tour over there, and then went over to his house, or excuse me, his flat, or his condominium. And we watched some of his, I think it was Bulldogs and Malenkos, and his daughter brought over a DVD and a laptop. And it's funny, because he hadn't watched a lot of these matches since they had happened, probably. And he still remembered, he was watching it. There's a good spot right here. It was a good one. And you do a little spot, and it's funny enough, he remembers that was stiff or whatever. And he was pretty good. The last couple of times I saw him, his health has really taken a traumatic dive, I'll say. And the last time I saw him, he could barely speak, and he was shaking, and his one eye was kind of closed. And I was asking him little questions about guys, and all he really remembered was Tiger Mask, you know. And he was not in good shape. I hope he does well, but man, I don't.
What was that terrible rib he played on in Back Shack?
I don't know. I know that they screwed with him. I heard. I've heard about Dynamite. Well, he was known for halcyon in guys' drinks, and my dad used to tell me that he would see him halcyon his beer or something like that, and he wouldn't think that he knew it or whatever. He would take a sip of his beer, and he'd catch the pill in his mouth and then spit it out. And he'd act like he was watching something on TV, right? And then Dynamite would be kind of watching him, waiting for him to fade. And then he'd see Davey, you know, he'd be fine, and he'd be kind of wondering, like, you know, is he building a tolerance to this, or you know what I mean? And I heard stories about him, like, lighting people's beds on fire while they were sleeping in them.
That stuff doesn't happen today.
No, you know, I think they were driving on the highway somewhere, maybe when they worked Stampede when they came back, and I heard a story that whoever was driving the car, that I think it was Dynamite or Davey, from behind they just grabbed the guy's eyes like that and pulled him and yanked him so he couldn't start putting his feet on the brakes or on the gas. And they swerved into a ditch, and I think Bruce just grabbed the wheel and turned it back in. But, like, who knows, what if they would have crashed into a ditch and flipped, or, you know, Dynamite was getting the guy back for something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. It could have been Bob Johnson or somebody. But